How could ancient builders, working more than 45 centuries ago, raise millions of stone blocks to heights that scraped the sky, without iron tools, engines, or modern machines? Around 2600 BCE, when much of the world still lived in small farming villages, the Egyptians conceived monuments so vast that their silhouettes still command the desert horizon. The Great Pyramid of Khufu at Giza remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years, a mystery of mathematics, organization, and willpower that continues to puzzle engineers and inspire dreamers. Nearly 5,000 years ago, during Egypt's third dynasty around 2650 BCE, Pharaoh Djoser and his architect Imhotep attempted something no culture had dared before. At Saqqara, they stacked 6 giant limestone terraces into the world's first pyramid, a stairway to the sky, meant to lift the king's soul toward the eternal stars. This bold design transformed royal burials from hidden underground chambers into monuments that could be seen for miles, shimmering above the desert and proclaiming the pharaoh's divine authority to every subject who looked upon it. The step pyramid was not just a tomb. It was a declaration that a mortal king could touch eternity. The success of Djoser's project ignited an architectural arms race. Fourth dynasty rulers, Sneferu, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, pushed the limits of stone construction to match their soaring ambitions. Sneferu spent decades experimenting with colossal, smooth-sided pyramids at Mihdam and Dahshur, learning from failures and refining angles until the elegant, true pyramid emerged. Each experiment carried lessons in quarrying, transport, and precision masonry, laying the technical foundation for the wonders at Giza. His final red pyramid, with its perfect symmetry, stood as a promise of what was possible. Khufu inherited this hard-won knowledge and used it to command a monument on the Giza plateau so massive that its base alone covered 13 acres and aligned almost perfectly with the 4 cardinal directions. Planned like a city unto itself, the Great Pyramid required quarries, supply routes, and worker villages to function in harmony for decades. Each rising course of stone became a public proclamation that the pharaoh was both a living Horus on earth and a god destined for the heavens. When completed around 2560 BCE, Khufu's pyramid towered higher than any structure the world would see for more than 3,000 years. To the ancient Egyptians, these pyramids were engines of eternity. Priests taught that the sharp apex symbolized the sacred Benben stone from which the sun first rose, while polished limestone casing stones reflected dawn light like a second sunrise over the Nile Valley. Deep within hidden chambers, the king's preserved body awaited awakening in the afterlife, ready to ascend along the slanting sides to join the imperishable stars. Every carefully measured block became part of a cosmic machine, ensuring that the pharaoh's name and power would outlast the shifting sands and echo across all ages to come. Building a pyramid was less a mystery of magic than a triumph of organization. Around 2550 BCE, Khufu summoned a workforce that may have numbered between 20 and 30,000, far fewer than the mythical hundreds of thousands once imagined. These were not enslaved masses, but skilled laborers and farmers who came during the Nile's flood season when fields lay underwater. Archaeologists have uncovered workers' villages south of the Giza Plateau, complete with bakeries, breweries, and medical facilities, proving that the builders were fed, housed, and treated as respected contributors to a sacred national project. The pharaoh's administrators planned every stage with military precision. Teams of quarrymen, haulers, and masons were divided into rotating crews with names like the Friends of Khufu, each competing for honor in moving and setting stones. Overseers kept meticulous records on papyrus scrolls, some of which have survived in the Wadi al-Jarf papyri, detailing deliveries of limestone blocks from the quarries at Tara. Such documents reveal a society capable of large-scale logistics, from supplying thousands of workers with bread and beer to synchronizing deliveries across the Nile. Tools were simple but expertly used. Copper chisels, stone hammers, and wooden sledges shaped and moved the massive limestone blocks. Workers used levers to lift stones into place, while surveyors employed plumb bobs, sighting rods, and simple geometry to achieve an alignment so precise that modern engineers still marvel at the results. What they lacked in iron or wheels they replaced with ingenuity and collective discipline, transforming raw human effort into one of history's greatest feats of construction. The heart of the challenge was never the blueprints, but the raw mass of the materials themselves. The Great Pyramid of Khufu contains more than 2.3 million limestone blocks, each the weight of a small car, with the largest granite beams hauled from Aswan tipping the scales at over 60 tons. Cutting these stones was a feat of relentless human effort. Quarrymen armed only with copper chisels, wooden mallets, and rounded dolerite pounding stones chipped deep channels into the bedrock, their tools ringing out under the desert sun. To free each block, workers inserted dry wooden wedges into the cuts and soaked them with water, the swelling would splitting the stone along precise fault lines. Archaeologists still find red ochre marks and numbered inscriptions on quarry walls, silent proof of the careful planning and staging that began long before a single block left its cradle of rock. Transporting those massive blocks across miles of shifting sand required both muscle and ingenuity. Workers loaded stones onto heavy sledges and dragged them over long tracts of sand dampened with water, a simple trick that bound the grains and cut friction in half, a technique confirmed by wall paintings in tombs and modern engineering tests. For granite, crews relied on the Nile itself. Barges, their hulls reinforced for weight, carried colossal blocks from quarries in Aswan more than 500 miles away, timing the voyages with the annual floods of the river around the mid-3rd millennium BCE. Once the shipments reached the Giza plateau, gangs of men hauled the stones up broad earthen causeways that sloped toward the rising pyramid, their movements paced by drumbeats and shouted commands so that hundreds could pull as one. The desert echoed with the sound of human power turned into organized motion. The final lift, raising stones hundreds of feet into the air, remains the most tantalizing puzzle. Most scholars envision a ramp system, either a single straight incline, a zigzagging switchback, or a spiraling roadway, that climbed with the growing pyramid and was dismantled as the last stones were set. Others argue for hidden internal corridors or counterweight, sleds that ratcheted blocks upward in carefully measured stages. Whatever the exact technique, each block was placed with astonishing accuracy, seems so tight that a modern razor blade can barely slip between them. By about 2560 BCE, the Great Pyramid stood complete, its polished Tura limestone casing catching the desert light and gleaming like a white gold beacon visible for miles, a silent declaration that human will had transformed earth and stone into a monument meant to last for eternity. Even in antiquity, the pyramids stirred wonder and speculation. Greek travelers like Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, marveled at their sheer size and recorded legends of armies of slaves toiling under cruel kings or hidden passages leading to secret chambers. Later visitors from Rome and the Islamic world repeated stories of treasure vaults, magic scrolls, and lost wisdom sealed inside the stone corridors. With no surviving construction records and only cryptic hieroglyphs to guide them, mystery naturally filled the gaps left by history. In the modern era, the legends only grew more extravagant. Popular writers claimed that alien engineers used advanced energy beams to levitate the blocks, while others proposed a vanished super-civilization that possessed forgotten technologies. Pseudoscientific books and late-night television specials carried these ideas to a global audience, turning the pyramids into icons of unsolved cosmic puzzles. Each new claim, no matter how implausible, fed a public hunger for the fantastic and kept the debate alive even as excavations revealed ever more earthly explanations. Gradually, scientific evidence has chipped away at the myths. Carbon dating of ancient mortar confirms the 3rd millennium BCE construction dates, while workers' graffiti hidden deep inside chambers identify the same crews who quarried and hauled the stones. In 2013, fragments of papyri known as the Diary of Mirror described boat deliveries of limestone along the Nile, offering a first-hand log of the building process. The real story may lack aliens or secret powers, yet it carries a deeper marvel: the ability of thousands of organized, determined people to accomplish what once seemed beyond the reach of human hands. More than 4,500 years after their construction, the pyramids remain the last standing wonder of the ancient world. Sandstorms have scoured their faces, earthquakes have shaken their cores, and centuries of quarrying have stripped away much of their gleaming casing. Yet Khufu's pyramid still rises more than 140 meters above the Giza Plateau. Its survival is a testament not only to engineering skill, but to the eternal ambitions of the pharaohs who sought to anchor their names in stone. Even after dynasties fell and kingdoms shifted, these monuments stood as silent witnesses to a civilization's dream of immortality. The influence of these structures outlived the old kingdom that conceived them. Later dynasties experimented with smaller pyramids, while foreign rulers, from the Greeks who followed Alexander in the 4th century BCE to the Romans centuries later, drew inspiration from their enduring power. Their outlines shaped temple designs, tomb architecture, and the very idea of a monument meant to touch the heavens. Modern Cairo eventually grew in their shadow, with generations of Egyptians quarrying their stones, carving their likeness on coins, and weaving their silhouette into national identity and folklore. Today, the pyramids belong not just to Egypt, but to the world. Millions of visitors walk the ancient causeways each year, craning their necks to study blocks set by hands long vanished. Satellites track their perfect alignment with the cardinal points, and advanced scanning technologies probe for hidden chambers that might still guard secrets of their makers. Yet the greatest mystery remains strikingly simple. Across millennia, these mountains of stone continue to spark the same awe and wonder that first inspired their builders to reach for eternity. As the sun sets over the timeless sands of Giza, we're reminded that some mysteries endure not because they cannot be solved, but because they continue to inspire. If you've enjoyed this journey into the past, join us again as we explore more wonders of history and the secrets time has left behind. This is AfterTime, where every stone, every story, and every shadow carries the echoes of those who came before. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter in our search for the extraordinary. The past is never truly gone. It's waiting for us to discover it, one after time at a time.